Hello everyone, and I welcome you to this new channel, Quick to Algo, where we will study about the theoretical aspect of the computer science subjects and also its practical implementation. We will do this in two ways. First, we will go through the theory of the respective subject, for example, operating system. Then we will go through the theory of computer networks and other subjects, and then we will also see about the implementational aspect of it and the respective algorithm, how they are coded, what are the numerical problems that reside in that subjective area of that course, and we will focus on the standard textbooks that are used mainly in the graduate and the undergraduate levels in the various universities, be it India or abroad. For example, in operating system, we will go through William Stallings, Tannenbaum, and other books which are relevant material, which are standardized material, and we will build our concepts from scratch. Now we will see the curriculum and the course outline for the operating system. We are starting it from the very basic and from the very start, and we don't assume any prerequisite. And the very first topic we will see is process management. Now, one thing that we should keep in mind, initially the subject is started with the what is operating system, what are the advantages and disadvantages of operating system, why operating system is used, but and the history of operating system obviously, but I am not starting with that because sometimes it gets too much theoretical, historical, and little bit off-putting to start the subject with that. So we will start and get into the process management part, and after doing the process management in the CPU scheduling, then I think if we consider what how operating system developed, what are its application, then we will be able to appreciate in much more detail and with much more vigor. So that part of operating system, the introduction and the initial part, we will keep it after the second unit. After that, we will discuss about the inter-process communication and deadlocks. Inter-process communication is how two processes or two or more processes which are on the same system, same host, same computer interact with each other, how they share data, how they share instructions, what is happening when the two processes are trying to communicate. Now, what I mean by this, for example, I am recording this video and you are watching it. So when I'm recording it on my system, and suppose if I am doing a live stream on YouTube. So when I'm recording and I'm streaming it at the same time, we can see that two processes are working. I'm recording, say I'm writing yes. As soon as I'm writing yes, a streamer say is projecting it onto the network stream on the YouTube, and you are looking at that. So there are two processes, one on which I'm recording the video and another which is broadcasting this video on the web. So how these two processes are communicating, what are the pitfalls of it, what are the advantages and disadvantages of it, how it's related to multi-programming, that part we will study in the inter-process communication, concurrency, and deadlock, this one. After that, we will look at the very important concept of operating system, memory management. In fact, memory management is a part which is dealt in operating system, digital logic, computer architecture, and organization. This is a subject which spans across three major subjects of undergraduate course, but we will try to cover it entirely in this subject only. And I'll give you the relevant details from digital logic and computer architecture, not to burden you, but enough to get a good feel of the memory management part. After at last, we will look at the file system. It's a very easy topic. How file is managed, what is directory, what are the structure of the file system on Unix devices, Linux devices, and if time permits, we will look at the Windows case study also. Our methodology for going through this entire subject of operating system will be divided in the given parts. Initially, we will start with theory part. We will discuss the theory, what, how, when, what, and how it works. We will cover all the theoretical relevant aspect of each topic. After that, we will go through the numericals because it's very important to once you understand the theory, you have to implement it, you have to practice it. For example, scheduling. Scheduling, after knowing the algorithm, once you do a several couple of numericals on each type of scheduling, it will stay with you for a very long period of time. So without doing the numericals on that, such topics becomes very fuzzy in mind, and after a while, people tend to forget it. So numericals are important, and when we will emphasize on doing the numericals. We will also look at the algorithms and code based snippets. Now, for this, we will use the standard textbooks, as I have mentioned earlier, also, and we will also use the internet. For example, Wikipedia has a very good resource on major computer science subjects and, in fact, anything. So, we will look at the Wikipedia also. We will look at the algorithms. For example, there is a CPU scheduling algorithm called round robin. It's very popular and it's very important and it's a very easy algorithm to understand. But we will look at the algorithm, we will see the code snippet, how it's implemented in C or C++. The basic idea is you will also get to understand how system programming and how the working algorithm that is used in the system, how it works and how it is coded up. So it will give you a brief introduction for those of us who are just beginning. And if you are a seasoned programmer and if you know all this, it will be a revision for you or you can skip it also. Next thing is, as I have mentioned earlier, we will use the standard textbooks as our reference. I will mention which textbook at which point I am referring to, and if I am referring to a textbook or if I am referring to a Wikipedia article or if I am referring to any research paper, I will give the relevant resources in the description also, so you can go through them. Also, Wikipedia is very important. I have mentioned it earlier several times, but now I want to tell you that Wikipedia has a very good collection of references and a very extensive and exhaustive material list. So, for any topic, if you go through the Wikipedia pages, sometimes you will get a very good animation there, sometimes very good video depiction there, or a picture or a image. So it's very good to go through Wikipedia. Sometimes it makes your journey through that topic very easy. So we will see how Wikipedia can help us. So that part we will go through in this methodology. Now we will talk about the for which person and what is the target audience for this course. I think anyone who wants to understand about operating system, how it works, and if have a curiosity driven individuals who just want to get to know about how a operating system works, what happens when you push that power button on a desktop or a laptop, what happens internally, can join this course and can get a something or the other from this. It is very beneficial for the students also because if you are going through this course, maybe you can find something here which can give you a moment of clarity in that topic or something, and you will definitely get something or the other from this entire curriculum. If not, it will be a very good revision for you. You can get some very good notes out of it, and because I will be referring all the important reference books also, so you will get the standard definition and everything. You will get something out of the other. For the developers who are working in the industry or who are working on their own, if they want, it will be a very good way to for a quick revision. I think you can play the videos on 1.5 or 1.75x speed. YouTube allows that, and it will be a very good revision for you because we will be discussing the algorithms and everything in a little bit detail. And I am making this curriculum from beginner to intermediate, somewhere between intermediate and advanced level. From beginner, I will be taking the entire course to a intermediate level, more or less. So we will be having a very good understanding about the graduate level syllabus, sorry, undergraduate level syllabus, and we will see some of the topic like distributed OS and real-time OS in some or little detail. So it will be a very good course. I think you will enjoy it. And if you have a curiosity, you want to know how your Android OS works and how your laptop OS works. So you will get something or the other from this course and you will enjoy it. And I hope uh, I can deliver something and some enthusiasm that I have about this course because operating system is a beautiful subject. It is what makes many application and programming much more easier. It is a brain that makes that hardware that is your laptop or a desktop come alive and do such wonderful things. So we will see how it works. Now, to conclude this introductory lesson, I just wanted to clarify on this particular point. Why I'm making this presentation choice, which by writing and teaching like this, because see, it's I am starting this channel after just after the lockdown, and I wanted to mimic a classroom environment and explaining some numerical and some conceptual topic by writing here. By writing becomes very easy. We can explain, I can convey you the exact meaning, which is not very much feasible by making ppts for me. And I also make a very boring ppts, all my teachers know that. So I don't want to bore any of you with that such boring ppts. So I'm taking this choice, and if based on your feedback, we can also alter it and we can do something or the other. I have also plans for doing live sessions where we can interact directly, we can talk about the problems. And I also want to do live sessions where we can go through a research paper also, and we can discuss some of the important things. For example, very simple research paper regarding how buffer system works or how page replacement algorithm works, and what were the research paper written then, and not the research paper published today in like 2021 or 2015, but we'll also go through the research paper published in like 1970s and 1980s and see how this thing and see, when you look at the concept from today's perspective, for example, I'll give you an example. When you look at that inter-process communication, there's an algorithm called Peterson's solution for two-process synchronization. Now, when we look at that algorithm, those of you know it, it seems very simple. Like there are two variables, and one is interest and other one is return. But to come at that solution for at that time required such a huge amount of research. Entire a decade of research was spent onto synchronization process. So to understand and to truly appreciate, I think so if we go through the research papers, we can get an idea, a glimpse of what research took path and how they came to that solution. And this will help us to develop a problem solving attitude also. Like in the programming, it's nothing but you have to know about how to solve a problem. You have to get that insight, how to think about a problem, how to approach the solution, how to divide the problem. So by going through that entire discussion, we will gain some idea, and hopefully that I'm very hopeful that you will enjoy it. So with this, I will conclude this session, and in the next video, we will start with the what is process and entire process management aspect of the syllabus. Okay, so I think we will conclude here. Hope to see you in the next video, and have a wonderful day ahead. And day ahead. Thank you so much.